shaming, fat phobic. Where's the equivalent of that for men? They don't exist.
If anything, if I meet anyone and they ever say anything to me and I need a statistic and it's about women and men, I'm phoning Pearl. Pearl has a statistic on everything.
No. Okay,
literally, it's
you're
amazing.
allowed to have standards as a woman. What we're talking about is too high of a standard, where it only encompasses 20% of men. That standard. If you broaden your standard to include, like, let's say 50%, you would have a higher chance of being in a relationship. Correct? Because you have more people.
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about. The reason why a lot of you are single is because your standards are too high. Men's standards are not the same. Like the same with the two girls with the money. It doesn't matter for me what she has. More likely, I'll take the one with less because the one with more is going to come with complications. She's going to be like, I'm the boss of this stuff. I have the most money. You can't tell me nothing. I'm like, yo, I don't need the stress.
I find it really interesting that you say that, because speaking to all of the women that I know who are currently single, the issues that we always have are you go on dates, you put yourself into somebody, you invest your time, and they all seem to have commitment issues. So that's why
because
we're
you're
not
dating
in
the
relationships.
20%.
Why?
I promise you, the bottom 80% of guys, they
are they?
They have no commitment issues. None.
No, wait,
But
the man has commitment.
they're less attractive.
The man has commitment issues.
Yeah.
In my experience, and
But that's what I'm
most
saying
women
to
that
you,
I've spoken
because
to.
he's not going to tell you, listen, darling, this is your problem, this is a B problem, this is C problem, this is D problem. I'm just going to cut, or I'm going to stay there and not take you seriously. If he's not committing to you, it's because it's something you're not doing, or you're not fulfilling for him in terms of what
So
he
it's
wants in a
purely
woman.
the woman's fault if a man's not committed.
If
Okay,
you're not,
if a girl is asking for, let's say, her asking price is this much, and she says, this is the product, this is what I'm selling, can someone buy it? And nobody buys, something's wrong with the product.
Good to know.
Or the price.
or the price.
Or the price, yeah, or the price.
Or the buyer.
This is just so difficult.
You're basically saying there's no issue with the fact
women's
that it's so easily accessible to move on to the next person with having social media, with having dating apps now, that hasn't caused an issue in terms of individuals now committing to relationships.
What does social media have to do with the conversation?
So I find that social media has a major thing to do with the conversation in terms of dating, because expectations are set so high.
I think
what people expect.
I think it raises women's expectations more
I
than
think it
men.
raises men's.
I think it raises.
How does it raise
How?
men's?
Because women's DMs are flooded.
They are.
That's true.
Yeah, and so it gasses women up and think they're hotter than they are, because you can be an average chick and have an NBA player slide into your DMs.
It kills your confidence. It's like,
But as a dude,
Yeah, for a
you're
man.
not. As a
I
dude,
mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's great either way. But I
Sally?
do think there's an issue in terms of it sets expectations to be higher. And then when you have so much access to speaking to, hundreds of women on a daily basis, men also become more picky.
Yes.
Hold up.
but why though?
but this
top
is
20% of men become more picky.
it's a small percentage of men that are picky, because again,
The
most
20%.
Yeah.
Yes.
20%. No, it's
and
true
that's what
though.
I'm saying. You're right. It is harder to get the small percentage of guys to commit. Because if you find this guy attractive, a lot of other women probably do too. Why would he commit when he can just bang a bunch of chicks?
Let's put all the 20% on an island somewhere and we'll all live happy ever after.
You would go to the island.
But,
No,
but
yeah.
then,
Why am I
but
going
then
to the
in
island
that,
for?
no, but in that 20%,
Don't tell me where the island is. Don't give me a boat.
Yeah, where's the island?
Where's the boats?
what is the exact time and location?
I'll swim. I'm a good swimmer.
You want to go to the island.
So-
And only that, if you take away the 20% of the guys and put them on the island, then there'll be a new 20% of guys that you lot are now interested
Exactly. Let everyone get a chance, man.
in. Yeah, so you always want the top. You can't settle for what you like. It's like
Lower your expectations.
lower your expectations.
I don't think
Expectations are not
that's
that
I don't think
high.
that's a hot take, but
What? Go ahead.
I don't think it's a hot take to so I guess my opinion on this is a bit more nuanced in that yes, everyone has, expectations that can vary and sometimes they can be a bit ridiculous. So but I don't think that's a bad thing. I actually enjoy the hustle. And I don't think it's a hot take to tell women that hey, you should settle for less, you should settle for the average XYZ. I think it's your job as a man to be that top person.
You're either a beta or you're a successful man.
Go on, say it again.
inside of this in the dating game, because only a man that's winning will say that. Or do you know what I'm saying?
No. I will tell you, I'm not necessarily winning. I could be doing better, but you know, and I think I'm far from a beta. That's just my nature.
Are
as
you
a man.
virgin?
No.
So you're winning then, because you're in the higher you're in the smaller percentage of men that's actually being sexually active.
I do quite well.
Right, there you go.
I do, but
it doesn't. No, wait. It doesn't favor you to change it.
maybe like 40s,
doesn't- it
50s.
doesn't
I'm very
favor
picky
you.
though. But I think it's more about like the attitude though. I think it's more like, because when I say I do quite well, but I probably go out more than you. I probably put in more time and energy into understanding the game than you. I probably had more experiences that have affected my dating experience than all these people. So people act like, you know, it just happens. It takes work, and I'm gonna keep working on it.
You're right. There is a group of men that like are addicted to corn. Right? They just play video games. They're not working on themselves, and they have bad results. And you don't really feel bad for them for having bad results. But on the other hand, you have women that are super overweight asking for a guy that makes 6 figures, and like you don't see that type of male delusion.
Wow.
Well, you actually do see some of that, because I know a lot of gamer boys with very poor social skills that think they're entitled to, you know, top shelf women.
But being real, do you really feel like it's at the same rate?
I mean, it's processed differently. If that guy gets shut down, it's embarrassing. It's sad.
That's what I'm saying. Like men are faced with reality quick.
Yeah,
Women
that guy.
aren't, because we lie to each other.
That
And
guy's
then-
not happy.
Yeah, and then we have movements like, you know, slut shaming, right? Fat phobic. We have all these movements to like cushion us.
Yeah, and don't get it twisted. I have my frustrations with women as well. Like, I think in the casual dating game, there is definitely expectations are quite high, and I think personally, a lot of women don't understand how to have a healthy casual relationship. I think people mix it up with very sentimentality, and that's why they get played by the same guys. Because these guys know you want a connection. You're saying you're a big girl, but you know when they mess with me, they're like, "Oh, why aren't you texting me at night? Because we're a casual relationship. I'm not gonna kiss you goodnight." That's
You can
weird.
have a healthy casual relationship.
That's my view, yeah. And
I do.
Absolutely.
I think
But-
so, definitely.
it just takes maturity.
You just have to be transparent.
Be transparent, be mature. Yeah.
You lot are playing with fire.
I don't.
You lot are playing with fire.
Maybe I am fire.
I don't think women are biologically predispositioned for it. Like
No.
statistically, they're not.
They're not.
And I think as a guy, you're like, yeah, you can have a healthy casual relationship because that's a man's point of view. And some girls can do it, but like in my experience, typically like they've just had a bunch of sex to the point they don't care anymore.
In my
But you're saying
experience,
every time we orgasm, we fall in love with this guy. So the casual relationship,
N-
we're gonna.
not every time. I'm saying early on.
Yeah.
So girls typically bond more with the first couple of guys they slept with.
yeah.
Okay.
And they tend to do that through orgasm. Yeah.
I
must
want
not
to
have
have
had
great
enough
argument.
orgasms.
Here's the problem. Yeah?
In my experience, though, that the women who tend to be able to do this, they tend to be older. They tend to be like over 27.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have a high body count, but they're normally very educated. They have they're independent. They have their own lives. So my ideal woman is actually what a lot of people would say is the woman that will give them the most stress, because these guys say, "Oh well, this woman thinks she won the show." Yeah, you can run the show. I'll see you once every 2 weeks. what am I fussing about? Or, you know, women who are still in love with some other dude. Cool. You can see him in the 2 weeks I'm not seeing you. You know? And if you think like that, that's called frame though, because I have nothing to prove. And when we want to escalate the relationship, then there are a lot of ways that you can build closeness. But I'm just someone where I know what I'm doing is building a more intimate relationship than our relationship is actually at.
So you're
And
the
that's-
side guy.
No, I'm the main guy actually.
No, in terms of like if she's got a partner and you see her in between the relationships, you're like the side guy.
No, she this is not married women. These are just women who are around. Maybe they may be seeing multiple guys. I don't ask because I don't care.
So you're winning in the game then.
Casual relationship.
In the casual game,
But
you're winning.
it's a mindset though. That's the thing.
No, I'm not asking if it's. I'm saying, are you winning? Yes or no?
I do all right.
So wouldn't it be like bad for you if the game was to change and women to stop having casual sex with you?
Counterproductive.
Wouldn't it be counterproductive?
If women was to stop having casual sex,
Yes.
I guess so.
Right. So you're not right. So you're not advised to give the right advice then.
Yeah,
but that's-
because you telling girls to sleep around benefits you.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But
but
I'm
it can also benefit them as well.
But that's
What
not
what
necessarily them
what is
sleeping
what is
around.
the most but what is the most conducive to building families?
A stable emotional relationship. I guess.
Yeah. And so, like, that's why you see 50% of women over 30 being single and childless. And then you have the least happy group of women are 45 that make over $50,000 per year. That's the least happy group of women. So casual relationships leave women unhappy in the long term if they don't have a family.
Yeah, but that also depends on the mentality of the people around them, the men at the time. So a woman you can consider quite pious now, you could go back 10 years and she's now someone who is acting completely wilding out.
Oh yeah.
Part of it is like the
Birth control
society
changed,
you're in.
Birth control changed dating forever.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that in a way you can't go back.
Absolutely. But yeah, I personally, I don't think casual sex is the worst thing. But it has to be approached with care. It's not something you do carelessly. This idea that, just sleep around, shag whoever you want, whatever, is the reason that a lot of these girls are out here getting played and crossing two things, casual and intimate. And they don't even know. But I know, innit?
Okay, I'm going to read super chats for a hot second. Okay. So, guys, as you know, who wants to know what Ish looks like? Everyone in the chat, put a 1 in the chat if you want to know what Ish looks like.
Yes, people, let's go.
So, guys, send donations so we can get a camera next month. So we're trying to save up for the end of next month to get Ish a camera. Ish, good looking guy. I know you guys want to know what he looks like. Drum roll, please.
We trying. Let's go.
Okay, so beef, $20 super chat. Thank you. We do not have beef because you are subscribed. Trevor Lane, dude got shot in the armpit. Lazarius, it isn't even settling. It's going for a man who's actually checking for you, who can match you. You attract what you are, not what you want. Jeezy May, women believe that men's experience on social media is the same as theirs. They don't live in reality, and they're not required to. Ask the white lady in black if she dates black men. Wait, the
White lady.
My man's desperate.
Wait, after. Do it after.
Okay. Stephen Pierre Jerome. The 20% of men are highlighted in women's minds, or where the other 80% are almost invisible. You only see them when you need something you want or desire. Army D. The male version of hypergamy is a nice body and a great attitude, and that Indian woman is fine. And Mary D. Another $10 super chat. Oh God, guys, these names. Jin Chukwuriki Ermsela. My mother had 3 boys. She explained many times that women earning more will bring it up in marriages and hold it over the man's head. Find Sebastian Shaw. The voice in the corner, please stop. You will keep inflating other countries with the UK, and you have an issue with classism. Big link to black people's fool. Jeezy May. Jeezy May, a man doesn't care about how much money a woman makes, but a woman will talk down to men they don't look up to. Find Sebastian Shaw. Women need to stop moaning. UV now got the power of your body, and there's no more blaming us for potentially being a piece of crap. You can choose. Please choose wisely. Jeezy May, women want men who are experienced and desirable. If a guy told a girl he was a virgin, she wouldn't be interested in sex with him for lack of experience. De Prequel. Advice for single poppies. Stephen Pierre Jerome. Society lets us women use the excuse, I was young and stupid, as a get out of jail free card. Guys from the time they were born are held accountable as grown men. WRYDDA. No, after 35, you are undateable because by that time you have too much life experience and you're stuck in your ways and you're unmoldable. Refund MD1. Hey, Pearl, wanted to send you a TikTok. Milk at the movement, husband requirement 300 pounds, asking for yearly honeymoons, and she does no housework. Dier, when we want a life partner with a low mileage, we find the Queen of Hearts. When we want a good time, regardless of mileage, we get with the Queen of Clubs and Diamonds and Spades. Simps, dogs, and feminists ruin marriage partners. DC081. Ladies, you need to shape up because robot women with artificial wombs, eternal youth and beauty, and customizable looks aren't very far off. Paulo Darte. There's a big difference between what a man likes to see and what he wants to have for life. Black Panther. The OnlyFans economy is built off the decline in male mental health, and there are women selling thousands of dollars of their used bathwater to these kinds of men. Dubman, question for the women. Would you be okay if the guy slept with someone else until you were ready to sleep with him? That's actually a decent question. The UK Economist, ask your guests, would they prefer their daughter waiting for marriage or wasting their time sleeping with random men? Ice Hollifield, if she sleeps around and then makes me wait. That's like me spoiling all my other girls and then deciding to be humble and take her to McDonald's to see if she's a gold digger. Dubman, it's easy for women to make a guy wait because there's no cost to her. Meanwhile, the guy is spending money on dates with no return on investment. Brennan Ocean, women let alpha males and make beta males wait. Mr. Minister, respect Samuels for the buy a dog and die alone phrase. Stephen Pierre Jerome, preach, Pearl. Good guys are often placeholders for the guys they really want, and good guys are starting to wake up. Dubman, $5 super chat. Edson Polo, why girls think men want to live them. It does not cross me to leave my wife, so they don't all think like that. Let me refresh and see if there's any more. Also, guys, all the super chats are going towards updates in the studio. And sign up for our memberships. I think we're about to turn on our members-only chat. So if you want to be a part of the members-only chat, you got to sign up for our memberships. Okay. Digital Sparks Beta White Hat is sweating like he's being interrogated by the CIA. Guys, it's pretty hot in here.
It's crazy hot.
It's hot. They don't have AC in the UK. I don't know why. Someone give him a glass of ice water and put a fan on him. Richard Alvarez, high-value men are valuable because they provide security, stability, and status. A high-value man should be a regular guy with a 9-to-5 stable job, good value, and that works out. This changed to what we consider a high-value man. Flascar, women don't care about men's issues because they don't have to until they hit the wall and they're rescued from father time. Real from Sapien, hi Ali. Free my dude Ish, get that man a camera. Elijah Abdulman, my monthly contribution, one day Ish, one day. Lorison, the guy in the white cap tries to go against the majority. It doesn't matter what the topic is. And then that's it. Hey, Jess, I don't know if you can open the door back there, but maybe it'll actually make it a little cooler in here because I'm sweating too. Okay, so we have some new panelists. Hi, guys. I know you guys introduced in the beginning. So my question, and this is kind of going back to what we were asking earlier. So 50% of women over 30 are single and childless. We have the lowest birth rate ever, practically, in human history. When should women settle, and when are their standards too high?
I think their standards are too high when it becomes unattainable.
Okay.
And illogical. As far as when they should settle, I can't answer that. But with regards to standards being too high, I feel like if something's unattainable, then your standards are too high, just by default.
Okay. What do you guys think?
I don't necessarily think her standards are too high. I think you should be typically being a virgin as a woman before you actually have sex with a man, be thinking about putting a ring on it. And I would always say that, like,
what was that? So,
Say that
can you
again.
rephrase that?
sex before marriage, bro. Like,
You're
it's
saying sex before marriage is important.
No, I'm saying you shouldn't be having sex before marriage.
Right, got you.
Got
Is
you.
this something that
saying-
you're going to start doing from now on?
No. I'm saying
Yeah.
the reason why girls should practice marriage before sex is because the other way around disadvantages them. Mm-hmm. It doesn't disadvantage me.
Yeah.
I am completely in my zone when you don't want ask for commitment.
Yeah.
I don't need it. Like, it's not. You know what I mean? It's not. I don't have to spend money on you. I don't have to be thinking about you. I don't have to do, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's worse for you if we don't have a commitment.
So women should
Right.
not sleep with men before they are married.
Yes,
If
the
they're-
Bible said that. The
well,
Quran
it's a
said that.
start.
Question.
If they're virgins, but the problem is you have women that get ran through and then ask the guy to wait, and I'm not sure that's the best strategy.
But you said as well, our connections are built through sex, and sex is a very important part.
Yes.
So what happens for the divorce money? Because what if the sex is shit? I've waited, got a big old ring. Your sex is dead.
Okay, it depends.
How would you know
You
it's
wouldn't
dead
have
if
no
you?
me-
How would you know it's bad sex if you've never had sex with anyone else? Unless
have no
like those, you'd only know
Okay.
for one of two reasons: you're comparing him to another guy,
yeah.
or your friends are telling you stuff he's not
Yeah,
doing.
my friends is probably saying you're meant to, maybe some things are meant to happen at a point in sex.
But
and
then you
it's not
can grow
happening.
with someone when when it comes to sex, isn't it? Like, so you
suppose.
can have sex with someone for the first time and it's
Yeah.
not that good, but then once it's called practice.
Ladies, you're going
Once
to
you
miss a
start
lot of
having
good sex
sex.
if you do that.
No, because do you know what it is? Like, I think feminism got confused, yeah? They're like, oh, men were sitting down in a dark corner all cuddling together thinking, how can we screw over women? Instead of thinking it as men actually love their women and think, how can we best protect our women and our daughters? The best way is for her to be married, my daughter to be married with a man that I've vetted, I've made sure he's all right. Yes, it's hypergamous, but I've vetted him. Even like, do you know what I mean? We're marrying a family to another family of two, what do you call it? Two decent families. We're not just marrying the person, we're marrying the family as well. So you're marrying so now when you're 89 and you've got all your kids and your aunties around, you're not lonely. You don't have the cat around. You know what I'm trying to say? You enjoy your life and fulfill your life, because that's what the main purpose of life, isn't it? To reproduce.
The happiest life for a woman is simply that she doesn't run through loads of men. She gets married. She has a loads of kids. She gets to have grandkids. And then later on, she gets spoilt by standing in her living room and she's got 20, 30 people that have all just come from her. And at the end of the day, it's not that, well, ultimately, women, they can't have been dicked down by so many different men and then expect to have a man take them seriously in a long-term relationship. It's okay making the man wait ever so slightly, but that's if he knows you don't have a history of being run through by loads of different men. I think that alone is going to give men the security to say, right, look, I'm now willing to wait a little bit because I know that this woman's heart is in it for the right reason. And now I know that I can wife her and we can do it for the right reason. We can actually have kids and we can have a long-lasting relationship. Personally, I do agree with you all that actually the government's involvement, to me, is bullshit as well. I hate it. But the sentiment of it is far more biologically beneficial to you, but men will opt in as long as you don't have that background, as long as you don't have that history, and as long as loyalty is there first and foremost, and that you would treat you would treat your men as men. Don't get me wrong, they have to be men in the first place, and by men I mean actual masculine men. They have to have the right frame, they have to have the finances in order, but as long as they can see that you have the right history, you have the right motive, and then the loyalty is there altogether, I think we could all agree in here that a relationship is now going to last and it's going to be fruitful forever.
What's more important, a low body count or loyalty?
What's more important? I don't think I need to pick either one.
They tend to be the same.
I was going to say they kind of.
They go hand in hand, because if a girl has a higher body count, it's more baggage. It's more exes he has to deal with. It's more I hate this term, but like alpha widows.
Yeah.
I never heard that.
It's basically like the ex that the girl can't get over, but there's more of them. The more people she slept with.
I do agree with certain points that you said about getting. I do agree with body count, and I was raised on women shouldn't get run through, and I do agree with that, and I'll preach that to my daughters. But what I don't agree with is the perfect family, the scenario. The greatest thing for a woman is when she's standing in her living room with 30 people celebrating her. Yeah, for some people, that is their life goal. I don't think my aunt. I've got a few people in my family that can't have kids. So
that's the exception. That's the exception.
No, and that's an exception. So it's to say she can't have kids, her life is any less fulfilled than my other auntie that has got the maybe, but she's living her best life in foreign, like.
Is she?
She's had to adjust ultimately. You've got to remember.
Yeah, I hear you. So we can adjust, and I don't think her life is any less fulfilled.
No, it's not. It's not going to be it's not going to be any less fulfilled. I mean, technically, it will be.
No, I hear what you're saying, because she has went through probably periods of her life where she's wanted a kid.
Right,
I get that.
But again, I mean, that is the exception to the rule, and it doesn't mean she can't be happy, but she's not going to be as happy. Now, that's just the sad truth of it, right? But if you're a woman, I mean, to go back to your previous point, what would a woman want more than to later on be able to say that they're a grandmother, great grandmother with loads of kids, load of people that have come from there? I know you said that that's not every woman's goal. What goal would you say a woman would value more than that long term? That society hasn't told her she should have.
Yeah, like I want to cut the 30 great grandkids down to like 8, 9, because the cost of living out here is crazy.
That's a lot of Christmas presents.
Not
But
buying
the point is if a woman doesn't prioritize a family, she ends up unhappy in the long term in general. Because this is when you survey women, because it's all fun and games when you're still hot, right, and you still look good, right, and you still get attention from men, but at some point that goes away. Like no guys are lining up to date 50-year-olds.
Yeah,
and you're gonna live to be 90. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. We have that window, so that's why we want that commitment.
Fertility
early on.
window, yeah.
Yeah, so we need to optimize in that and try and find that commitment when we're in that window. So women are nurturing. They want to have kids naturally.
Not all.
Not all.
Naturally, you do. But I believe the only reason why some women will say they don't, and I personally believe I'm yet to be convinced otherwise, is because modern day social conditioning. Society has convinced you that's not your ultimate goal. But if you actually walk into a dark room with nobody in there by yourself, completely quiet, and ask yourself, what do you want? What does your biology want? I think you'll know the answer.
When you ask girls that are 18 and they're graduating high school, they all want to be married with kids.
That's the first thing they want.
Yeah,
to do.
but
who sold them that dream?
It's just nature.
That's
They're
society
built
as
that
well.
way.
It's definitely not society. You have feminism pushing you can get your own bag, female empowerment. Like I've been told from the youngest age that I can do whatever I want.
Society's telling you that you should have this big career.
Yeah.
And make it on your own. And
Bullshit.
that's it's, in the
It's not
long
what you
run,
want.
you're just if you're gonna be like a high up lawyer with loads of money, you may have loads of money, but you'll be lonely because you won't have your children.
You get a couple of more holidays a year out of your money. So fucking what? At the end of the day, what does it matter to you if you've not got a family? That's
Our whole
ultimately
purpose in
what you
life
want.
is to have children.
I mean,
So
it's
they-
the gift we have.
Yeah,
that's
we're
our
allowed
gift.
to procreate.
Why-
You're breeding machines.
Like, yeah.
That's literally what you're
But it's
biologically
changing now.
designed.
It
No,
is
no,
changing.
I know this, but I want to ask you guys something. Yeah.
Sorry, darling.
Now, the LGBT community
Yeah.
should be allowed to conduct themselves how they conduct themselves, right? So more than likely, we're not going to get any kids from that area.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, the women that we're now telling go to work, go to career and stuff,
Yeah.
don't have kids late. Now we're telling those women not to have kids. What do you think happens to the human race when people stop having kids?
It will become extinct, won't we?
That's what I'm talking about. So we need a man and a woman to have kids, right? Right. Otherwise, we need to continue the human race.
And to touch, sorry to cut you in, but but on that point, people have got to understand that what we're fed to believe we want and what we want on a DNA level, a cellular level, are two different things. And this brings me back to the very point you all touched on earlier with regards to what men are looking for in women and what women are looking for in men. Now, this is just for anybody watching. At the end of the day, the simple breakdown I provide for people is if you're a man, for any man in this room, if I was to sit here and break down a woman, so for example, I would say she's very, very caring. She loves her career.
Yeah.
Right? She's very, very driven. She's got loads of friends around her that love and respect her. Her family adores her to pieces. Highly educated. What is every single man in this room thinking right now?
In what sense?
When is she going to have
If I was to describe a woman and start off and purely lay out those attributes or traits or her history, right?
Yeah.
What for any guy in here or any guy listening, what question do you have in mind? What's the first question you have?
What does she look like?
Thank you very much. Right. It all comes down to the aesthetics in the beginning. Right now, for women, it is slightly different in that. Now, if I was to say he's a great looking guy, chiseled jaw, big dick.
As many of you know, I was just banned on TikTok, and we are demonetized on a daily basis on this platform. If you want to help, please consider sending a super thanks below. Every donation helps, and it helps make what we do possible.